Give Jesus praise. Because He is God and He will always be God. In our lives, in our circumstances, He will always be God. Come on, lift your hands to Jesus. Because He deserves all of our praise. My circumstances cannot change who He is. Because He is always God. You never earned it. Never became it. He did not start now, and it won't stop now. You never earned it. Never became it. He did not start now, and it won't stop now. You were God. You are God. You will always be God. Oh, you were God. You are God. You will always be God. Come on, lift your hands to Jesus. If you know He will always be God. If you know He will always be God over your life, over your circumstances. Come on, speak to Him. You never never became it. Sing it did not start. And it won't stop now. Sing you never earned it. Sing you never became it. Say it did not start. And it won't stop now. Lift your hands, lift your voice and say, you were God. You were God. You are God. You are God.
I am highly energetic by this song. You were God. You are God. You will always be God. Applause for the choristers. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for making our day with that song. I know your day is made already. Yes. Because we're here to receive what has been packaged for us all. You believe that? Put your hands together for Jesus Christ. As usual, I feel more belonged, more welcomed when I find myself in your midst. So therefore, permit me to come down. Thank you. Thank you. Choristers, you may have your seats. With due respect, you may have your seats. Thank you. You are God. You will always be God. Whether you bless me or not, whether you heal me or not, you are God. You are God. You will always be God. Whether I am rich or not, strong or weak, you are God. You are God now. You will always be God. Think about that song. It is prayer on its own. May the Lord bless the composer and the singer originally. It's a prayer on its own. You don't need to say, Lord, break that barrier, destroy that yoke. Hey, no. Challenge God with a song. In this situation, Lord, you are God. Because I've searched all over and discovered that you were God. During the time of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you were God. During the time of Paul and Silas, you were God. During the time of Joseph, oh my God, in this my situation, you are God. And I'm 100% sure you will always be God. What else again? What else? That is God. When you challenge him with such a song, hi, he will come down from his throne on your behalf. You know, God can vacate his throne because of you. He did that because of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Remember, they were three. Before you knew it, they became four. Who was the fourth person? God! Hey! You were God. You are God. You will always be God. He never changed. Those days. It has not changed even now. and it can never change. That's the meaning of the song. Well, thank you. We are blessed by that song. I repeat, God bless the composer, God bless the singer. Yes, so today, remember last week, we dwelt on physical fitness is necessary for spiritual fitness. Today, I made you to understand last week that the message shall continue. Today, just briefly, we shall talk about good health is a balanced diet for spiritual maturity. It is just a continuation of last Sunday's message. So, if you are the type that have been joking with your health, listen to this message. It will go a long way to change many things in your lives. And if you're a medical doctor, a nurse, professional one, and you feel you are the one doing it successfully, you are making a mistake. It is all based on God's inspiration, because God is aware of orthodox medicine. He is fully aware of it. It is all based on His inspiration. That is it. That is it. That is it. So therefore, I'm going to take you to some books. The first book we're going to look into, if time permits us, we'll read all. Otherwise, we'll just briefly touch and move on. The first book we're going to look into is a book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 29. Yes. We can't do without Genesis in this regard, because we're talking about nature. So Genesis is all about nature. It's all about the origin of nature. So therefore, we can't do without talking about it. So Genesis chapter 1, verse 29. The second book is Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 21. The third book is the book of Ezekiel chapter 47 and verse 12. And the third, the last but not the least, Psalms 104 verses 14 to 16. I repeat, Genesis chapter 1 verse 29, Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 21, Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 21, Ezekiel chapter 47 and verse 12, and Psalm 104 verses 14 to 16. That is it. So therefore, I'm going to look into these books, and I know the Lord will bless our souls as we go on. Let me first of all take that Genesis chapter 1. Since my Bible is the biggest here. Huh? But I love it. It tells me how patient I have to be. Okay? So that is it. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 29. Listen attentively. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 29. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. Take note of that language. They would be yours for food. They would be yours for what? For food. That is the first book. Let us quickly go to Isaiah. Remember the message as we are reading these Bible passages. Put the message at the back of your mind. Good health is a balanced diet for spiritual maturity. Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 21. Listen to Prophet Isaiah, what he said. Listen. Isaiah chapter 38 and verse 21. Isaiah had said, prepare a poultice of figs and apply it to the boil, and he will recover. I know in today's contemporary world, when a prophet tells you, go and cut that leaf, boil it and drink, you say this pastor is a witch doctor. And you've forgotten that you are a product of nature. If it happens today, the news will be everywhere. This man of God is a witch doctor. He told me to go and do this. And I refuse to do it because I'm a born again. Born again, you forgot that you are a product of nature. I will convince you about this. Now, we have gone to Isaiah 38 and verse 21. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 47 and verse 12. And I know if we're to be today, that Jesus spat on the floor, mixed with mud and his saliva, and placed on the blind man's eyes and asked him to go to the pool and wash, you will say he's a witch doctor. And you've forgotten that God can use any foolish thing to propagate and promote his good works in the life of man. He created all things, and all things are useful to him. It's just these days, we have decided to convert nature to diabolic. And when nature becomes diabolic, it's no longer of God. I will speak to your hearts. Now, let's talk about Ezekiel chapter 47 and verse 12. Listen attentively to this. Fruit trees of all kinds will grow on both banks of the river. Their leaves will not wither, nor will their fruit fail. Every month they will bear fruit, because the water from the sanctuary flows to them. Their fruit will serve for food, and their leaves for healing. Are you there? Put that at the back of your mind. We're going somewhere. We're going somewhere. So let's quickly go to Psalm 104. Psalm 104. Psalm 104. Yeah, 104. I told you my Bible is very big. To get chapters is not an easy thing, so you have to bear with me. 104. Verses 14 to 16. Are you there? I read. He makes grass grow for the cattle and plants for people to cultivate. bringing forth food from the earth, wine that gladdens human hearts, oil to make their faces shine. Take note. And bread that sustains their hearts. Verse 16. The trees of the Lord are well watered, the cedars of Lebanon that he planted. Now, listen attentively. Let me take you to the summary of all these scriptural passages we just read. I told you last Sunday that human beings man himself are products of nature, are parts of nature. Were created from natural things like dust, mud, clay, decayed leaves and roots of plants and trees. This is what make up you and me. That is why I told you last Sunday, when the body drops, perhaps nobody sees the body, maybe whoosh, and it drops. After 1 year, will you see the body? Will you be able to trace the body? It has gone back to dust, clay, mud, decayed trees and plants where it came from. We decided as human beings, having wisdom, knowledge greater than animals, to place this body on the high prestige by organizing funeral burial for the body, buying caskets for the body. Ordinarily, the body belongs to dust. It has to go back to where it's coming from. Because we are the greatest product of the Holy Spirit, that's why we regard this body. But when the body drops, when the spirit parts away with the body, you know that this body is nothing. You value it because you are still strong. You value it because you can care for it. As a lady, you look at yourself very beautiful. As a man, very handsome. Because the spirit man is still dwelling in the body. When the spirit man vacates the body, it becomes mud. It becomes clay. It becomes dust. It becomes decayed plants and roots of trees, as it was in the primordial. God gathered mud at primordial. He gathered dust. He gathered clay, decayed plants and trees, and molded this into an image. And having realized that this image will become dormant, inactive, valueless, he decided to breathe the breath of life into the nostrils of the image, and he became a human being, you and me. What makes you valuable? The breath of life. Outside the breath of life, you are common dust. I am common dust. I am just decayed plant and trees, moving because of the Spirit of God that released the breath of life into you. Now let's go to where I'm going now. Listen attentively. Human beings, you and me, man himself, are products, are created from natural things. As I said earlier on, if that is the case, it therefore means we human beings must, listen attentively, respect nature, must acknowledge nature, must accept nature, into this body to remain healthy, to remain strong, to remain energetic, and above all, enjoy prolonged lifespan. If we are products of nature, fine. It means we need nature to sustain this body. Now listen to this. We need nature to sustain this body, to make this body energetic. How? You need nature in their natural states. To live long. How do I mean? Nature in their natural states, I mean green leaves, green vegetables, fruits, to mention but few. You know what I mean by nature in their natural states. 2, no doubt about it, we equally need nature in their refined forms to live long as well. Here comes orthodox medicine. Orthodox medicine, simply defined, is nature refined into drugs, nature refined into tablets, nature refined into shrubs, drips, or injections, as the case may be. Those of you who so much believe that I'm a born again and you are taking sugar anyhow, in the morning sugar, in the night sugar, in the evening sugar, in the night sugar, in the morning starch, in the night starch, in the evening starch, and you say you're born again. This is nature. Too much of everything is bad for the nature. Tell your neighbor, touch yourself, say neighbor, look at me, this is nature. Too much of everything into this nature is bad. Let me take you to the primordial. Precisely 100 years ago, 200 years ago, when orthodox medicine were not pronounced as it is today, how were your forefathers taking care of themselves? How were Hebrew women going through delivery? That is to tell you, nature has never forsaken you. Therefore, don't forsake nature. I remember those days, if you mistakenly or accidentally bruise yourself, a matured elderly man in the village will say, quickly go and cut this leaf, squeeze the water, put there. When you drop it, the soil will dry. But today, you will tax such an elderly man with wisdom of nature as herbalist. It's a matter of time. Today, God has inspired doctors and nurses to operate in similar way. So therefore, never you neglect their importance in caring for your nature. Doctors, professional doctors, and nurses, listen attentively. I will explain who you are. Except you are diabolic, I'm not interested. Except you use other means to derive power, I'm not interested. But if you're an image of God, listen to this and know your position. Professional doctors and nurses, please, viewers all over the world, listen to me and quote me right. This is an inspiration from God. God gave me this word. It was last 3 weeks the message came, a revelation came. God said, my people have neglected nature. That's why they are dying. Some of them, if you go to heaven today, they show you your file. They'll tell you, this is what you're supposed to achieve. This is what you're supposed to achieve. But because you never took care of your heart, you never took care of your kidney. I'm the creator of nature. I I created Adam and Eve, your forefathers, and placed them in nature. I have reason for that. I placed them there for them to be comfortable with nature. But many today are living artificial life. Professional doctors. I don't mean those who are yet to become well experienced in their profession. No. Because when you're not experienced in a profession, you can commit blunder that can take life. Listen to me and quote me right. Professional doctors and nurses who are highly inspired by the God of nature are God's visible hands to administer nature in their refined forms to our body to promote good health and long living. As a medical doctor, as a nurse, when you administer nature in its refined form, take note, the drugs you administer is nature in its refined form. The injection you give is nature in its refined form. The pills you take are nature in its refined form. In administering this to the victim of nature stress or natural stress or discomfort, both you and the nature or the person you're administering this natural means to his or her body must not neglect the fact that too much of everything is what? Bad. Professional nurses, professional doctors, you are God's hands, God's visible hands in administering his nature in the refined form to the body for comfortability and good health. When you administer treatment successfully, it is because God inspired you. Take note of that. It's not because you are too smart. It's not because you are too wise. It's not because you are too strong, but because you were inspired by God to administer that nature in its refined form successfully. Now look at the area people misunderstand or mistake nature for spiritual. People begin to misunderstand the position of medical doctors and nurses in relation to the position of the supreme God, the creator of the universe, who can only heal. Doctors, they only treat. Only God heals. Now listen to the area where we get it wrong, the area where we make blunders that take our lives. Remember I told you last week, I said, take care of your heart. It is a small engine that drives the whole body. Yes or no? Take care of your heart. It's a small engine, but mighty in function. And you cannot take care of your heart by neglecting nature in their natural forms. You cannot also take care of your heart by neglecting nature in their refined forms. Both go pari passu, when and where necessary. Now, look at the area we always get it wrong. There are discomforts and distresses that are above the power of nature. And there are also discomforts and distresses in terms of sicknesses and diseases that are within the power of nature. I will explain both. First, let us talk about distresses or discomforts of the body in regards to sicknesses and diseases that are within the domain, within the power of nature. Listen attentively. I explained to you that orthodox medicines are nature in their refined forms. The drugs, if you look at the raw materials, it's that they are leaves or plants. They go through a refinery to come out as modern tablets today, to come out as modern pills today, to come out as modern tablets today, to come out as modern injection syrups, or the drip you take there. If you go to the lab, they put them under the microscope, you still see those plants as their origin. So, when your distress or discomfort on this your natural body is within the power of nature, then listen, inspired doctors and nurses from God can administer nature in their refined forms, and they will bring your body system to its original state. What am I trying to say? Stand up, sir, with due respect. If you have headache, for instance, we're talking about natural distress or discomfort to the body that is within the power of nature. I mean, you can use you can use nature in their natural forms to get well, or use nature in their refined forms, like drugs, injections, to get well. There's nothing bad about that. That's when that sickness or disease is within the power of nature. Listen to me attentively. When you're having a headache now, your head is hitting, and you come to a doctor, you just look at you, no. You just need to rest. That's to them. You need to rest. Or take this Panadol, take this Fensic, take it and rest, to be over. And indeed, because it's within the power of nature, when you take that nature refined, like drugs, Panadol, and sleep, before you wake up, it's gone. It is because that headache is within the power of nature. Means nature in their natural forms, or nature in their refined forms, can take care of that. I'm having dizziness. Doctor will ask you, did you overwork yourself? Okay, go and rest. Take these drugs. You get well. Indeed, you get well because that dizziness is within the power of nature. Natural things, either natural or refined, can take care of that. See that, sir? Now, the second one. Imagine that headache is above the power of nature. It has become highly spiritual. It's an attack. Maybe you had a dream, you saw masquerade chasing you, and they hit you on the head. Boom. By the time you woke up, it translated into the physical. Chronic headache. You can't see. There's some headache when they grab you. When that headache grabs you, you will see one person having two heads. If the care is not taken, you begin to call your husband a witch or your wife a witch. Because what you are seeing is different from normal human being. It's gone beyond nature. It has gone beyond power of nature. When that is the case, with due respect, stand up, sir. You just come to a doctor. It's okay. Ordinarily, as a human being, to him, you believe that maybe you overstressed yourself, maybe you overworked yourself. Okay, take this Panadol. Nature refined, isn't it? I give you to drink. Because that sickness, that headache is above the power of nature. The more you take Fensic, the more it becomes stronger. Here comes the healing power of Jesus Christ, as obtained for you and me upon his resurrection from death. Then you can begin to, when you take the Panadol, no way. Take the Fensic, no way. Know that the dream you had has translated in the physical. There is no amount of nature in the natural or nature in the refined form can take care of that. You need to seek for spiritual healing. When you now come to a man of God, what would the man of God do? Headache, man of God, help me. I have headache. He will look at it and see the dream you had. If God gives you the grace, he will tell you about the dream, and instantly he stretches his hand. What is the purpose of stretching hand? Based on the healing power of Jesus Christ, to knock out that spiritual inclination. It may be a dark cloth they used to cover your head in the spiritual. It may be that they tie your head in the spiritual somewhere, under a dark room, or there's a calabash they wear on you like a cap. You feel heaviness, but you can't really explain why your head is heavy. You can't see anything, but something is on your head. They may put a calabash on your head, maybe a pot bearing some things on your head. No peace will come to your natural body until there's spiritual intervention. You mean to meet a true man of God, say, in the name of Jesus Christ. That is darkness. The moment that darkness hears in the name of Jesus Christ, they vacate. When they leave you, you feel light. It means if you now go back, it means supernatural power has returned that discomfort to become within the power of nature. If you now approach your doctor and they give you pills to take, instantly the headache will go. Tell your neighbor, you cannot neglect nature, either in the natural form or in the refined form. They are all products from God's wonderful hands for your comfort and goodness. Thank you. You can see the reason why the fanatic ones among you, instead of you to seek for spiritual intervention or seek for natural means, you keep saying, okay, good example, you have discomfort in your body and spiritual. Instead of you to go for spiritual healing, you now begin to rely on yourself, packaging it. Before you know it, you draw a battle line between your spirit man and your body. And the spirit man is always very careful to live first. The spirit man is always very careful to do what? Live first. When two people are fighting, stand up, sir. People are fighting. One must give, one must submit. The spirit man is always careful to do what? Live first. And when the spirit man leaves this body, you will know that this body is dust. So therefore, make haste while the sun shines. Take care of your physical body by acknowledging and respecting nature in all ramification. Sit down, sir. Sometimes some of you will say, hey, why did God allow me to go through the theater? I shouldn't have gone through this operation. Why should God? I serve God 24 hours. I fast every day. Why? Who can question his majesty? If it is his will for you to go through the theater, you go and come out stronger than you went into it. That is God for you. But if it's not the will of God for you to go through the theater, you walk in with your legs, they will bring your body out. So therefore, you can't compromise God's position. If you are asking why did God allow you to go through the theater, you also want to have the audacity to ask, why did God allow Stephen to be stoned to death? If that permits you, you may ask God that. You're saying, God, why do you allow me to go through operation? I serve you, I worship you, I worship you, I serve you, I worship you, I serve you. It means you also have the audacity to ask God. Stephen served you in spirit and in truth. Why did you allow him to be shamefully stoned to death? Can you question him in that regard? Can you question God? You cannot. He does as he wills. He allows certain foolish things to happen to you to take glory at last. Tell your neighbor, God permits certain foolish things to happen to you to take glory at last. If you're asking God, why do you allow me to go through the theater? I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. That means you also have the audacity to ask God, why do you allow Job, whom you declare as a righteous man, to be afflicted with leprosy? But at the end, what happened? God took glory. Take glory, Father. Take glory, Son. Take glory, Holy Ghost, now and forever. Therefore, good health is a balanced diet for spiritual maturity. Let us stop deceiving ourselves. If you have stomach ulcer, will you be able to fast for 3 days? Where is the spiritual maturity then? So therefore, take care of your stomach because of your spiritual exercise. If you have heart condition, will you be able to shout? Will you be able to pray aloud? Will you be able to walk a distance? You would not be able. If you dare it, you will slump and go. You are drawing a battle line between the spirit man and the body. And the spirit man is always quick to leave when the body is no longer accommodating. So therefore, take care of your physical body. For the spirit needs this physical body to move around. Your spirit man brought you here, not your body. Take note of that. Your spirit man has the instinct to tell you, take your shower, come to ELOHIM ministry. Your spirit man has the instinct to take your body, take your shower, come to ELOHIM ministry. Sit down, listen to the message. Start your vehicle, check the engine. Is it okay? Is there water in the radiator? Is the engine oil okay? That is what the spirit man inspires you to do with this body. Your spirit man will be the one that will tell you, carry your Bible. Without your spirit man, can your body move? It means when you draw a battle line between your spirit man and your body, by not taking care of your physical body, your spirit man will be quick to leave. And listen to this. When your spirit man leaves the body becomes useless as it were before the breath of life entered it. It means what you feel, nobody can do. What you think you're the only person that can do it. 24 hours, no rest. 48 hours, no rest. Pim, 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 pim. You're chasing money, 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 money. You say money answers everything. What you think nobody can do. When you draw a battle line between your spirit man and your physical body, and eventually your spirit man leaves the body, you will find out that those who never knew how you suffered will enjoy the money. Those who never knew how you labored to acquire all you will be the one that will spend it. What you think nobody can do, people will come and do it better than you are doing it. So therefore, tell your neighbor, please, take care of your body. Take care of your body. Don't intentionally, I can't hear you. Tell your neighbor, don't intentionally draw a battle line between your spirit man and your natural body. If you do, your spirit man will be quick to leave. May the Lord bless his words. Yes. That is it. Kenya. Wow. Kenya. The message repeats itself again. Kenya. 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 Well, I will deliver it the way it came, but I'm going to speak in parable. And write it down. You will see with your eyes when it happens. Except God has not spoken. The way I was brought up by blessed memory Prophet T.B. Joshua is not to be in a hurry to speak when God gives you a vision until the final state of the vision. Then you can speak. Otherwise, there could be someone more closer to God than you that can change it. It's a matter of crying to God on their knees. It's just the way you have raw materials and they go through stages of treatment before the final products where you have your clothes. It's not this cloth that started the journey of the production. Raw materials, cotton, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, the final stage, maybe they call us based on choice. You want blue, you produce white, the same thing. When the vision just comes first, don't be too quick to release it. There may be stages in that vision which only God can tell you. If you are too quick to release a vision out of excitement, and the owner of that vision want to test you to see how obedient you are. I always cite this example that we have obedient prophets and disobedient prophets, but from the same God. Take note of that. It is true God ordained them, but obedient prophets will only see the inner side of God, while the disobedient will only see the surface. But they don't want you to know that they have been blind spiritually from seeing the inner side. They'll begin to play game to cover up. But those that have spiritual eyes will know that God has abandoned this man, God has abandoned this woman due to disobedience. That is why I will always remain loyal to blessed memory, Prophet T.B. Joshua. The way the message came last week, if I released it, I would have mistakenly said wrong things, because more came as I slept and woke up this morning. And this is a confirmation. So therefore, I'm going to release it the way it came. You may not understand it until it happens, to avoid confusion, because we are human beings. Because if I throw it the way it is raw, it's like God showed me that balloon, something is going to happen, and I come here and say, I mentioned the balloon, will you travel? Even if you have bought your flight ticket and you hear that flight name, I'm very sure you say, I have no. You remember you have many cars in your garage. You remember your cars, your houses. So over my dead body. Money go, let me leave. But you play your part, and God will do what? Back it up. There's nothing He cannot do. He can show you something today and change it today. So therefore, don't be in a hurry. Wait for Him. So therefore, people of Kenya, hear me loud and clear. The presidential election come August this year, 2022, in Kenya, is not going to go the way the mountain has planned it. Because God proposes. Man proposes, God disposes. I repeat. The presidential election coming August 2022 is not going to go the way mountain has planned it, because man proposes but God disposes. I am seeing Kenya flag flying in a new dimension, with on the flag, on the left hand side of the flag, I can see a gap between two letters, letter V and letter X. And on the right-hand side of the same flag, I can see a gap between two letters, letter Q and letter S. On the left-hand side, letter V and letter X. That's the gap I'm seeing on the left-hand side of the flag. On the right-hand side of the flag, the gap between letter Q and letter S. But I'm seeing a crowd. Are they protesting or jubilating? When a flag is flying, does it call for protest or jubilation? Well, we are praying for Kenya election, for the will of God to be done. May the Lord bless His words.
Elohim, you see